So today we're going to start solving equations, and we're going to take the square roots of both sides, the cube roots of both sides. On number one, I have x squared equals 9. If I take the square root of the left side and the square root of the right side, I get x is equal to plus or minus 3. Every time we take the square root of both sides of an equation, we got to remember to put the plus or the minus. B, I'll divide both sides by 5. I got x squared is equal to 3. Square root both sides, x equal plus or minus 3. On C, I'll divide both sides by 2. I got x cubed is equal to a negative 8. Take the cube root of both sides. I got x is equal to a negative 2. So it's only going to be plus or minus if we take the square root of both sides, not if we take the cube root. D, I need to get the 16 over to the other side first. Take the square root. So I'm still going to get plus or minus. That means I got an I, and the square root of 16 is 4. So plus or minus 4i. E, I'm going to move the 19 over first. I'm going to divide by 2. Square root both sides. Got plus or minus. I'm going to end up with an I, and 8 is 4 times 2. So 2 root 2i. Or if you'd rather, we could write plus or minus 2i root 2. For F, divide by 3. Square root both sides. All right, so I got a negative, so that's going to give me an I. Negative 8 is going to be, the I comes out the negative, then I have 4 times 2, and then the square root of 3. So x is equal to plus or minus 2i root 2 over root 3. I need to rationalize that denominator, a root 3 and root 3. So we end up with x equal to plus or minus 2i root 6 over 3. All right, so if we have an equation that contains a radical with a variable in the radicand, that's called a radical equation. To solve a radical equation, we're going to do the same thing. We're either going to, this time we're going to go in reverse. So instead of taking the square root, we're going to square both sides. If it's a cube root, we're going to cube both sides. In both instances, though, we got to isolate the radical by itself. On A, the square root, the radical is all by itself to begin with, so I can square the left side and I can square the right side. 2x minus 1 is equal to 9. Add 1 to both sides, that's 10. X is equal to 5. Whenever you square both sides, you cube both sides, it's a good idea to check to make sure you don't get an answer that doesn't work when you plug it back in. So I have 2 times 5 minus 1. And I want to know if that is equal to 3. So 10 minus 1, square root of 9. 3 is equal to 3. It checks out. So x equals 5 is a good answer. On B, the first thing we got to do is we have to isolate our radical. So I need to add 1 to both sides. So 2 cube roots of x is equal to 4. Divide both sides by 2. And now I'm going to cube both sides. If I cube the left, I cube the right, I get x is equal to 8. I want to check this to make sure it works. So I can have 2 times the cube root of 8 is 2. 4 minus 1. 3 is equal to 3. It checks out. Good answer. All right, get started on the homework. If you have questions, you can send me a question on Google Chat or an email.